it just happened to be on this Sarah Palin story. And you know what? You want to vomit from her. I don't know how anyone could ever say, gee, I hope she becomes president of the United States. I don't know how anyone takes her seriously. She, she's been criticized because on her website, this congresswoman, who is like a lovely woman married to an astronaut, salt of the earth woman, busting her balls. She happens to be against certain legislation that Sarah Palin is for. So up on Sarah Palin's website is a big crosshairs, a scope with this woman's name on it. Now, Sarah Palin, they're waiting for an explanation from her, some kind of answer. So she issues a video release. It's an 8-minute release. I wake up, I put it on. You want to vomit from this woman because here a terrible tragedy has occurred. And you want to know something? I don't think this shooter, I don't blame a crazy man. I don't blame Sarah Palin for the actions of a crazy man. But what I do blame Sarah Palin for is she's this big fucking crybaby who takes no responsibility for her actions. And by that I mean, when you've got, if David Letterman, who she was so critical of, if David Letterman had a website with Sarah Palin's daughter and a big scope and said, go get her with a crosshairs, don't you think Sarah Palin would be on every network television screaming, what is David Letterman doing? What if someone shoots my daughter? Let me ask you something, Sarah. If somebody had a big rifle scope with your daughter's face on it, what would you think of that? Would you allow it? Would you think that was a good thing? You fucker. You cunt.
Wait a minute. What does that have to do with the video you saw today? And why are you calling it the C word?
Because she's a fake. She's whining for 8 minutes about how, what a terrible tragedy, this Gabby, whatever her name is, Giffords. And she's, and even President Obama would agree with me that it's wonderful to have a complete political, don't blame me speech. And if she had gotten on and said, you know what? All I'm going to tell you is maybe the rhetoric is too heated. I don't think that my website caused this guy to do anything weird. But I'll tell you the truth. I'm looking at this. And having a website with a gun scope on it probably does heat people up. And I'm going to take a look at what I'm doing. And I think we all should. And maybe this is what...
But that would take thought.
That would be presidential. That's what I'm telling you. She's a thoughtless woman. And she's a dummy.
Well, that's why I said to you, I have only ever thought she's really stupid. Yeah. I never think of her as mean-spirited or hateful. I think she's really dumb.
She's really dumb. Well... So her followers are really dumb. You can't possibly watch this woman and not throw up. And so, last night, I got back from my birthday dinner and I put on the television and President Obama was in the middle of his speech that he gave. And I don't know if President Obama will win a second term. I don't know if you like President Obama. I don't know if you hate him. But you couldn't have been more proud of another human being. You couldn't have been more excited and turned on by a man.
I was like, he's back to the guy who inspired us to elect him in the first place. It was one of the best speeches he's given in a long time.
He was magnificent. And he got up and he said words to the effect of what Sarah Palin really should be saying. She probably should have said to herself if she had a brain in her head, oh, that's what I should be saying.
She should have waited for Obama to speak and then make her video.
Yeah, her speech just came off awful. And I'm sorry I have to call it a C word. I'm so worked up about it and so angry about it because I know she'd be the first one whining if there was a website with her daughter's face with crosshairs. She'd be screaming at the top of her lungs. They're out to get me.
She's exactly the kind of person you don't want.
Right.
Because she can only understand it when it does relate to her.
So Obama came out and he gave a speech and he talked about, the country and that we are people who, stick together and how much he spoke about each person who was killed. And he really is articulate and at ease with himself. And he struck a chord with me anyway, and he really moved me. And I thought he was terrific. And I'm very proud of our president, and it was a wonderful moment. And I couldn't have been prouder of our country that we elected the guy. And I know people have problems with policies and economic policies. I get all that. I'm just saying the guy came through and he should be applauded. And believe me, I didn't hire a guy to be president because he's a reverend and he knows how to make a speech. He's just an articulate, thoughtful guy. You felt his sincerity. You felt that he shared these people's pain who had just lost their loved ones. He was magnificent. And bravo to the president. And he did a great thing, and all Americans should be proud of that. And that's that. And Sarah Palin, I don't even know why you issued that tape. It was divisive. It was disgusting. It was really making something, a tragedy, into something political for you. To explain yourself yet again how she's wah, they're out to get me. No one's out to get you. It seems like you're out to get everybody.
Well, you know what? When we took that psychological test, there was a lot of things like that on there. Do you think everybody's out to get you? Do you think everybody's plot? Well, she probably...
I think she's psycho.
She probably needs to take that test.
Yeah, I listen. I don't mind that she goes around with the Tea Party. I don't mind that she's got a voice on Fox News. I don't mind any of that. I just worry that there's enough loons in this world to elect her a president. There's a woman who's a vomit. And that's all I'll say about it. I don't hear anything intelligent coming out of her. And this isn't a Republican thing. I told you, I admire many Republicans. I like Senator John McCain. I like what he's about. This is an anti-Republican. This woman is not bright and says dumb things.
That's why I don't appreciate, you're taking such a hard line with her. It would be like beating up on Gary the Retard.
Oh, come on.
For his opinion.
I take a hard line because I see people follow her. And they need to be shocked into reality.
I'm retarded, you jerk!
I'd vote for Gary the Retard before I'd vote for Sarah Palin, because Gary doesn't mean anybody any harm.
Sure, retarded blue!
And if she's that dumb, I'd like her to come in here and I'll fly her to the moon, which is our green room. And she could live on that planet.
I'm sure she'd have a hard time and want to come back.
I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, it was sickening. That's all I can say. I never heard it. You have to play this tape. It's wild. I'm not even going to play it. It's boring, quite frankly, but it's boorish. And it's condescending, and it's dripping with fake sincerity. This shooter was not political, and just shut up. We know you didn't tell the shooter to go out and shoot people, but it isn't great that you have people in the crosshairs. It's an
opportunity to just look at what we've been doing.
Yeah, it's a bad image. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. It's like telling people, gee, I think someone ought to take this person out. And then when she's laying there in the hospital and you're making this speech to basically defend yourself, it just all comes off horribly wrong. It's like, don't talk about yourself right now. This isn't about you. This is about a woman who is a congresswoman who's been shot in the head. And a lot of people got taken out that day. Just shut up about where the country stands and what this country's about. She goes into the forefathers, the founders, and what they wanted in the Constitution. No.
What's that got to do with right now?
Nothing. It's insane. It's all that Glenn Beck stuff,
I heard even Glenn Beck was giving her a hard time, though.
Was he? Good.
Somebody told me that. I didn't hear it for sure.
He should.
And I thought, well, it'll be great if all of them start fighting with each other.
Yeah, one big massive, and then everyone could have a website where they put each other in scopes. I mean, what is that with the scope? I mean, who does that? I mean, what is that? What else could that mean? You want them taken out. And then here's a woman laying in the hospital. She was taken out. There, you got your wish. So come on and say, I got my wish. You guys did exactly what it says on my website. Target her.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You did a good
and let's hope you target more of my enemies. I mean, come on. And what are her enemies? There's a woman who firmly believed that she believed in the stimulus package.
And the health care package.
And the health care package. Who cares whether you agree or not? Well, you put her in the crosshairs for that? I mean, what is that? Crosshairs with the guns, and she's so proud of her fucking gun. I own guns. I ain't proud of it. Stupid.
I heard that's all a fake. That, she just knows that that's what her constituents want, and so she'll be pictured with guns.
She acts like if you don't have a gun, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
you know. The reason I have a gun, I'm afraid of all of you. And that's it. It's, you know, you got to be on guard. Some fucker comes to my home. I can't beat him up. This guy's probably trained in fucking, you know, street fighting. I'm going to shoot him. Fuck him. I'm going to take a shot.